past 1 week, our family has journeyed 10,000 miles from Wisconsin to the highlands of Papua New Guinea. We are grateful to be here. It was a long journey with 6 young kids. All right, here we are, Minneapolis Airport, starting leg 1. Hoping that dropping off our 24 check bags isn't going to be too bad. You don't have to say goodbye to me, Claire. There were many things on our journey that did not go exactly as planned. We had our fair share of adventures. So our very first flight got canceled. So the 8 of us are splitting up, 4 and 4. Janae is flying on Delta straight to LAX, and then I am having to hop on 2 different flights to try to get to LA by tonight for our international flight.
I'm not gonna fly internationally without y'all. Please make it.
So good start so far to the travel adventure. So we thought it would be pretty easy to get from Minneapolis to LA by 9 p.m. Unfortunately, that was not the case. There were very limited flights available. So what the airline, American Airlines, ended up doing was splitting our family. We divided the passports, we divided the diapers. Janae took both of the twins so she could nurse them, as well as Harvey. I grabbed as many carry-on bags as I could. I hopped on a plane going to Dallas with 3 of our kids and then left Janae in the Minneapolis airport, and her flight direct to LA was a little bit later. I landed in Dallas with the kids, and then I called Janae. And Janae was frantic. She was at the Delta check-in. She had the boarding passes that American Airlines had given her. But at the Delta check-in, they said, "I'm sorry, these aren't real boarding passes, and you're not scheduled on this flight. And I don't see your name anywhere on this flight." And they were boarding the flight. The airline attendant was less than helpful at the time, unfortunately. And it was looking like Janae was not going to be able to fly to LA, and then our whole itinerary of this worldwide travel would have been disrupted. So I was frantically pacing in the Dallas airport. I was trying to call American Airlines, who had booked us these flights through Delta because of our cancellation. And Walter and Evie and Milo and I said a quick prayer for Mommy. And probably 15 minutes went by as the plane was boarding. Janae was in tears at the airline counter with Delta, and then finally got open the door. A helpful agent came in. They had previously said that the plane was full, that there was no way they could get Janae on the plane, but turns out the plane wasn't full. So right before they closed the doors, they pulled her and the twins and Harvey on the plane, and she hopped on the plane to LA. You like these? And thankfully our flight to Australia went quite well. The twins slept most of the night. We contorted ourselves into all of these different positions trying to get comfortable on the international plane. We then arrived in Australia, and we flew from Australia to Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea. And for the first time, we looked out of the plane and we saw the territory of Papua New Guinea. We saw the beautiful aqua ocean meeting this scalloped coastline of Papua New Guinea. And our kids were all excited in the plane, peering out the windows at our first glimpses of Papua New Guinea. Walter and Evie What do you guys think about being in Papua New Guinea? So we landed in Papua New Guinea. We're now about 2 days into our travel, and we had one more flight from Port Moresby up into the mountains of Papua New Guinea. When we landed in Papua New Guinea, we met some wonderful people in the airport who just blessed us and helped us with our 24 bags. At one point, I was standing in the customs line. I was holding a twin. I was holding multiple check bags, and I was trying to fill out these 8 customs forms for our family. And while I'm holding this form, filling it out, trying to hold up our bags and Ford at the same time, Ford reached over and he bit off part of the customs form. We only had one more flight left from Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea, up to Mount Hagen, Papua New Guinea in the Highlands. And from there, we had a short drive to our hospital where we're going to be living. And so we were really excited. Our journey was almost over, or so we thought. So we made it to Papua New Guinea. We are in Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea. We just got all of our bags through customs, and we had to get them all checked for one final flight up into the mountains in Mount Hagen. And so we've got all of our bags sitting over there. The babies have been crying nonstop for at least the last 3 to 4 hours. We are, I don't know how many hours in at this point. Over 2 days of being awake traveling. And we are hoping at 4:30 to get onto our last flight, which will take us up into the mountains. Unfortunately, they said that they're doing some runway construction, and so they can't take as big and heavy of a plane as they usually take. So they're having to use a smaller plane, meaning that right now our seats are tentative. And we were waiting to get onto our plane to go up to Mount Hagen, and that plane was delayed an hour. And then it was delayed 2 hours. And then it was delayed another hour, and then it was canceled. And so we had to gather all 24 of our checked bags. We had to find a hotel in Port Moresby. We had to haul all of our luggage out of the airport, only to bring it back to the airport the following day and take it through customs again. This is our ride to and from the airport. There are no seat belts, no car seats. We just kind of hold the babies. So not ideal, but won't be our regular form of transportation.
A little warmer here than it was on.
Yep. So our flight up to the mountains last night got canceled. So we stayed at a hotel in Port Moresby. We all got about 13 hours of sleep and feel like new human beings. Some sleep, some shower, coffee, and a change of underwear is really all you need. Yeah, so many people are helping bring all of our luggage.
You want to go help?
We're so grateful. So that following day, we showed up to the airport in Port Moresby again. We rechecked our 24 bags. We prayed that our flight wouldn't be canceled. It was immediately delayed an hour and then another hour. We were sitting in this very busy, crowded, hot domestic terminal in Port Moresby. At one point, we were supposed to board at 3 p.m. and when 3 p.m. came around, they announced that there was a technical error with the plane and they had no ETA on when it would be repaired. And my heart just sunk. I was like, oh no, if we can't get to Mount Hagen by 6 p.m., that airport does not accept any planes at night. And so that was it. And so I was thinking it was not looking good. So I was holding Eleanor, I was walking, we were trying to cool off in front of a fan, we were praying, and all of a sudden, about 10 minutes after they said there was this technical error, someone came and got us and said that the plane is flying, so get on the plane. So we all rushed off onto the tarmac. We gathered up the kids. We made sure we had all of our carry-ons. We got onto the tarmac and we had this big double stroller that we pushed the twins in. and I was having to collapse the double stroller so that it could get on the plane. Well, we had to take the babies out of the double stroller. I'm holding a baby, Janae's holding a baby, we're holding our carry-on. There's no way that I can collapse our double stroller while holding a baby. So this woman from Papua New Guinea said, I'll hold your baby for you. And there was a little bit of a language barrier there, but I passed Ford off. I collapsed our stroller. Everyone is trying to get onto this plane. I picked up our bags. I got onto the plane. I figured out where we were sitting. I was sitting next to Harvey. I helped Harvey get situated. And then I realized, I wasn't holding a baby. I looked over at Janae and just assumed that she would have both of the babies, but she was just holding Eleanor. And I thought, oh no, where's Ford? I passed him to this woman in an international airport and never thought to get him back. And so I looked around the plane. I didn't see Ford anywhere. Janae's saying, where's Ford? Where's our baby? And I stood up and people are trying to board the plane. I was trying to rush off the plane to get back to the tarmac where I had passed my baby off to this woman that I don't know who she is. And I'm trying to get off the plane, and some of the passengers all of a sudden realized what was happening, and through a language barrier they said, look behind you in the back of the plane. And sure enough, there in the back of the plane, this sweet woman was holding Ford, and he was just happily bouncing on her lap. And my heart was just so relieved that I had not actually lost our child. So reunited with Ford. When we landed in Mount Hagen, it was a very small airport. We were the only ones there, the only ones in baggage claim. We gathered our 24 bags and we met Uncle Ben, who was one of the other missionaries here at Kujip, who introduced himself to us. We had met him on Zoom before and had talked to him quite a few times on Zoom. He told all of our kids to call him Uncle Ben. He helped gather all of our belongings. We piled all of our bags into this big church bus, and then we took about a 45-minute drive down to Kujip, where we will be working and serving at a missions hospital here in Papua New Guinea. The surprises weren't over. We were obviously exhausted. We're over 3 days into travel at this point. It's in the evening. It's just starting to get dark out. It's raining. And we finally drive onto the hospital compound. We finally drive and pull up to our home. And standing outside of our home are 20 other missionaries and their children in the rain, cheering and celebrating as we pull up, giving us just the warmest welcome that we could imagine. And we stepped into our home, which had already been painted and decorated and had a pantry full of food and a warm meal for us in a crock pot. And everyone of the missionaries there helped us unload all of our things to our home. And we just had this incredible, lovely welcome to our new home and lives in Papua New Guinea. We're pulling up to our house at long last. It's so sweet.
I think you can just put him
I'm definitely into it. So
I love this room, just hanging out in here.
Oh my gosh, and look, honey, this is amazing.
I don't know. So we've been here less than a week at this point. It's been wonderful so far. Our kids are playing outside all the time. We're having to go track them down to get them to come back for meals because they're just wanting to spend all their time outdoors playing with all sorts of animals and critters, from big banana spiders to rhino beetles to finding birds to Harvey today walked into our house with a little puppy that he was holding. The owners were outside, but they've just been finding all sorts of animals and critters and creatures everywhere and just loving it. And I start work in the hospital on Monday, so we've taken this week just to get settled in, to start doing some language training, and then I dive into work next week, and we look forward to giving you all more updates. We're so grateful for everyone's prayers. Love you all. Bye.
Look, Daddy. So do you know where I was? Like feelers, and then those are the actual big black things. They're huge.
Does it bite?
No.
Are You sure?
Yeah.
Mostly sure or 100% sure?
Mostly sure.
Mostly sure.
What's
Oh
wrong
my
with it?
word.
It's just a big spider.
Yeah. Don't touch it. I don't want it to bite me. Just reach in there.
my gosh, it's a Hercules beetle.
That is beautiful. Or is it a?
No,
What do you call it, a rhino beetle?
no, it's a Hercules beetle.
No, yes, it is a rhino beetle.
You sure?
Yeah,
Yes.
'cause look at it. It looks like a rhino.
They told me it was a rhino beetle.
Oh my goodness. Ah, there we go. Good.
Nope, you can't look at it. Janae's gonna say the phrase that we just learned in Tok Pisin.
Pig y cow cow. Wait.
Nope.
Pig y kai kai cow cow belong yumi. The pig ate our sweet potatoes.